It's that time again, folks. It's never a dull moment time, and today we are sharpening a knife. We have a single bevel knife. This is a Fugubiki. For those of you, it's like a Yanagiba, okay? So whether you're sharpening a Yanagiba or a Fugubiki single bevel knife, this is going to be the lesson for you. I do want to point out that if you are going to be using this technique on a deba, there are some differences. So even though you can use this as a reference, there's definitely some profile changes in the deba. So I would not necessarily use this particular information for that knife. So let's talk about what we're trying to achieve and what we're going to do about it. So first off, today we need to sharpen a knife that has a very large bevel on the one side. For those of you who don't know, and I'm so happy I have this camera right in front of me. I can see everything that I'm doing. It's kind of cool. We have like a flat area on top of the knife, and then we have a large line that makes up the shinogi line, and the blade is going down. Okay, now one of the things that I want to talk about today is this is sharpening basics. There are many advanced things that you can go beyond this video. So this is sharpening basics. Yanagiba, single beveled, or Fugubiki, some people will even call it. Okay, so we are going to be doing two things. This knife has two sides, completely different. Okay, so we have this large line, okay, and we need to sharpen down to this point. Some people put a secondary bevel. Okay, we're not going to be doing that today. But we're going to be sharpening down to this line. The other thing is the back side of this knife. Okay, so on the back side of this knife, the back side of this knife is hollow. Okay, now it literally has a curve in it like this. And if you haven't seen it, if we haven't posted it yet, if we're going to be posting it when we do, I'll put a link up here. It's easy to get scratches on the inside of here. The profile of this knife is supposed to have a concaveness, and then there's two high points that are flat, and it's very evident. I'm lucky I got another camera over here as well. I can show you on this one. You can definitely see right here that there is a shiny edge around the outside. The middle is hollow, okay? And we need to maintain that. So we're going to be doing two different things on both sides. One, we need to sharpen this knife. And if you sharpen another knife, you know that we're going to be getting a burr on each side. This type of knife, the purposes that it is used for, we need a polished edge. We are not looking for a toothy edge. If you are a whetstone sharpener and your grit goes to 3,000, you might be fine. We would love to see you going up to a 6 or an 8K. Today, we are going to be going to an 8K. All right. So the first thing we need to do is sharpen this knife. So with this knife, I need to talk about like the stones that we're going to be using. You need to first make sure that the stone that you're working on is flat. I will demonstrate that for you in a minute. I know for a fact that this stone is flat because I already flattened it before we got on here. But the two stones I'm going to be using have never been used on this show before. So they have to be flattened because I've never flattened them. They're straight out of the box. Okay, so we will demonstrate flattening in a little bit on that. This stone is flat. So I need to first put the side that is concave, the Ura side, and I need to make sure that I only sharpen the two outer edges that are around the rim and not get scratches in the middle of this. If you get scratches in the middle of this, we have a great film for that, a tip for that. Again, if I haven't posted it already, I will. So we are going to put this knife down. You're sharpening this knife because it's been used. Because it's been used, the edge is not exactly how it's supposed to be. I'm sure you haven't been chopping up and down, hitting it into hard wood. But let's say that you have the foil edge. Okay, so my wife thinks that you can hear sounds of her walking around. She needs to know life happens, okay? So for all of you, I appreciate you guys have been very kind with words, but I can see my wife off camera freaking out that you might have heard her walk. Life happens, okay? So I need to put this knife down flat on a very flat stone. And I need this knife to like never tilt. Okay? The stone does all the cutting. I do not need to like make a new knife. I do not need to press so hard down into this stone. If I absolutely get this knife tipped on its side, I'm going to be changing all kinds of things in the cutting profile of this knife. Okay, so I need to first take a knife that's been used, which edge is probably doing this type of a number. I need to line it up, which will strengthen the aura side. Okay, so moving, you see me moving right at you. Okay, I'll go ahead and slide that down a little bit so we don't run into it. Okay, so I have a little bit of pressure here to make sure it doesn't go the other way. My pressure is here. I'm pushing like, so I have the edge towards you, and I need the edge to be trailing, which means that the edge itself, I'm like pulling it towards me, and my fingers are just riding on the way back. Pull, ride, pull. Okay, and we're just trying to make sure that the knife stays flush. Very key.
What stones are you using today?
Oh, my wife just brought up a good point. So we're sharpening the knife, and generally when we sharpen a knife, we start on a 1000. So I will put links in the description. This is the Morihei. I'll go ahead and show you one that's not been used. This is the Morihei. This is the 8000 I'm showing you. I'm working on the 1000. We're going to be going from the Morihei 1000 to the 4000 and then to the 8000. We're finishing on a high grit to get a very polished edge. Most of the time you're going to be using like a Yanagiba for fish. Clean edges make for a beautiful presentation. We don't want to destroy the cells of the food and have flavor on the cutting board. So we really want, we're not dealing with like steak and certain rough items or whatever. The Fugubiki though is very versatile. It can be used for a variety of things. That's what it was designed for. Fugu, blowfish is very small, lightweight. We want a non-heavy knife. But plenty of people use this knife for all types of other utilitarian things. But in general, we would like this knife to be finished with a higher polished edge. So again, back and forth on the 1K. Thank you, honey, for reminding me to make sure that everyone knows that when we sharpen, in general, we start on a 1K. Okay, the stone is starting to get a little dry. Now, I will let you know something about these Morihei stones. I absolutely love them. They are designed specifically by Morihei to mimic a Japanese natural stone. They create mud, which is this slurry that's very easy to see on here. It helps with polishing. We're not polishing today, but when you get into polishing, if you don't have Japanese natural stones, these are amazing for kind of mimicking that. So once we've done so much back and forth, you may feel a micro burr, but the goal here was just to align the edge and to strengthen the aura side. And, we definitely have that micro burr that appeared easily. You want to make sure that it's even all the way down. So when I go like this, I need to make sure that I feel something all the way down. I think the tip could use a little bit more. So make sure that I'm level and flush, pulling into myself. And you can kind of see me like pull, ease up, pull. I will also point out that the heel of this could have used a little bit more. I tell you what, with the blade though, if the stone wasn't level, I think the knife would have leveled it out. By the way, the steel that we're working with today is white paper number 2. And let me just talk about this knife. This knife comes from Perfect Edge Cutlery. Tara over at Perfect Edge Cutlery really took care of me. This is the Kikuchi 207 millimeter white paper number 2 Fugubiki. And I'm excited to sharpen it and be able to use it for some utilitarian things around the home. Okay, so we have now achieved what we were looking for. And so we're going to sharpen the other side. We have a burr, and we're going to go ahead and put this knife down on the side where the shinogi line is. So the shinogi line itself is going to tell you the angle. We don't have to think like, how do I hold it? The knife itself is going to sit down on the stone on the line, and it is going to basically make this angle. We need to make sure that the knife is always being pushed towards you, that the edge is trailing, so that the leading thing being pushed is the spine, then the edge is behind it. So I am going to push with 3 fingers evenly. Now, this hand is very important. This thumb will help to make sure that I have even pressure on the rest of the knife. Okay? So I am pushing away, and I'm walking. I need to make sure that I don't get low spots on this knife. I'm using the entire stone. I mean, just like that, it's already amazing. Okay? If you have really good knife, really good steel, really good stone, and obviously a lot of you with technique, you're not there yet, but the amount of pressure sometimes is different for everyone. I'm pressing forward, not so much on the way back. I mean, my fingers are just along for the ride. Forward. Now, the shinogi line is up here, so as I turn it over, it's up on the high side. If this knife were to rock at all, if this knife were to turn, I don't know if you can see that in this camera here, but if this knife were to, I'll over exaggerate, were to turn up on the line while I'm grinding, it's a bad day. We've definitely going to change the profile where that shinogi line is. We're going to move it. If we were thinning the knife, that's a goal. It's not a goal today. So we need to get our fingers right at or just slightly below to make sure that the blade itself is making contact. We want it flush. We want no space. If we went like this, it should be flush. We should not feel the knife coming up on its edge to where we could actually stick our finger. So we want it flush. We're pushing away. I mean, this thumb, so crucial in making sure that it doesn't rock up on its edge. And you want to definitely be consistent. I'm real big on wanting the tip of my knives to be every bit as sharp as anything else on the knife. And I know it's just so subtle that you just see my fingers just end up at the bottom end of the knife. Some of you might need to like stop and then move your fingers, where I'm just kind of like barely moving the entire time. Again, your goal, make sure this knife never rocks on the edge of the stone, and that will definitely change the profile of your knife. You don't have to be crazy hard with your pressure, and we're only going to get even lighter as we go to the different stones. Okay. So I'm going to kind of, in a way, take the burr off of that really quick. Just a couple of strokes, making sure that it's flush, making sure that my knife is perpendicular to the stone. So we have now sharpened the knife. by just doing what I've done, we could actually use the knife in everyday wear. The next goal is to polish the edge of the knife. We are not trying to make more burrs on the knife. My watch was telling me that I've done all my energy today. I've got all my energy out today. My wife's laughing. We exerted a lot of energy today. Let's put it that way. Okay, so we need to clean this. We want to take none of the particles of that stone onto the next knife. Onto the next stone. We'll go ahead and put that. We'll clean that a little bit. I like to keep everything. Okay, so we talked about teaching you about flattening a stone. So we're going to this 4,000 grit stone. I don't know. I'm going to ask my wife on camera. Do we ruin the logos knowing that we have a logo on the back and we can see that it's a 4,000?
I guess so. There's stuff on both sides.
There's stuff on both sides. It says that it's a Morihei and it says it's 4,000 on the end. So I'm not worried about it washing off. So we're going to take some logos off for you. It's the highlight of our day. So we are going to tighten this up a little bit. I do not want this stone rocking. Okay. So it's funny, some of these you actually have to untighten like all the bolts.
And what bridge are you using today?
Oh, I am using a very inexpensive bridge. Actually, I'll put a link. So this is the DMD Tools. It is kind of a copycat of the Casfly. I have the Casfly over there. I've got a Japanese natural stone on the Casfly. We will be doing a video on the introduction to Japanese natural stones. So I've got that one kind of occupied. Okay. I didn't do that good enough. There we go. So we need to make some lines. When you guys can see that. So we are going to use the, so this is a 4,000 grit. I have a 400 grit Atoma, which would remove all that material. Unfortunately, it's going to leave the top of the stone on a rougher material. So I'm going to use the 1,200 grit Atoma. So all the lines came off immediately. Let me get this tightened up a little bit more. Oh, that one's from here. I don't really need that one right now because that can't move. And no, it's not cheap because that. I just didn't have it screwed in all the way. This is a very inexpensive bridge. It does a really great job. It is not the Casfly. It does a really good job. Okay, so we have a flat stone. So remember, we have sharpened this knife. We are literally polishing the edge. So I'm going to put the Ora side down first. The same exact technique. My pressure is ridiculously light. My fingers are literally just sitting on the knife. There is no pressure. I'm not trying to grind metal off this knife. So it's just gliding on this beautiful stone. This 4,000 feels amazing. It's just dancing. Like it. So we've got pressure on both ends. We don't want the knife to teeter. And just like that, I mean, we just polished the backside. Okay, so we're going to do what we did before. I mean, literally, like that's how much pressure. Okay, like my hand is here to keep it applied. Pushing, push away, pull, push. polishing the edge. I'm not feeling for a burr. I'm not trying to create a burr. Okay, let's clean the edge. By the way, this is also not knife polishing. That is a separate conversation. You can definitely still see under, you can see that the shiny edges are still shiny, and the back of the knife, the hollow area, is still hollow. For those of you who are above. So we've done what we need to do. Okay? All right. So we need to switch stones once again. So I'm going to go ahead and put that to the side. And we're going to grab this 8K. We're going to draw some lines. Man down, man down. We lost the rusty racer. Okay. Well, it's nice and slick, folks. Let me tell you. Okay, so same thing. My wife is erratically moving through the studio. Maybe one day we'll get the microphone splitter and we'll mic her up. At least we could do is put the shotgun mic on her.
I think that'd be a distraction.
So
People might get annoyed.
People might laugh at our interaction. My wife has agreed to come on the show and to learn knife sharpening.
No, let's rephrase
That's next
that.
year, folks. It's not happening this year.
She said she will attempt.
And she said it'll probably be the longest video we've ever shot. I'll have to show you in parts.
And it'll be an attempt at knife sharpening.
The bloopers alone will be its own video, I'll tell you that. Okay, so we are polishing the edge. We're not polishing the overall knife, but we're polishing the edge. This 8000 Morihei feels amazing. This is their Fire series. Okay, we're going to turn it over, put it down. We're pressing the shinogi, same thing that we've already done. I did not get any paper out, so my wife probably doesn't have any paper handy. It's okay, honey. I will get it. Don't destroy the set. She's navigating. So you guys can't see, like, we have lights everywhere. We have cords. We have phones. We have, like, ridiculous stuff. Come behind the camera, honey. You've got a shirt on. It's nice. Yeah, come around. Come around. You can wave hi to everyone. It's film shooting day, yes.
Hello, my friends.
She's got her favorite shirt on.
Might be my favorite guy.
I'm in and out of her favor by the moment, people. Don't even.
I mean, Jesus is first. But that's okay.
There you go. Jesus is first. That feels amazing. Yes. Okay. So, we need to clean this knife up, get it dry. It is reactive. It is white paper number 2. We did not put this on leather. Okay. So, the next thing that we're going to talk about is there's people who do and people who don't, okay? So there's plenty of the people who do not ever strop on anything other than stone. And we've taken this off a million different ways up to here. I will go ahead and do the paper without, I have some leather right below that I could easily throw this on. If you were going to use leather to strop this knife, you would still do the one side, like,
That was my question.
Like I would, and I'll do it for you just to do it for you. Okay, so we got some paper. So let me make sure that I just. I don't want to cut my finger. Hold on. What? Lower what?
The whole arm lower for this camera.
I'm not trying to get down to that camera, honey.
Okay, baby.
See, the bloopers for this would be outrageous. So I'm like, the paper's dodging me. Oh.
Oh yeah.
I was like close. I got paper down. I'm listening for like the cleanliness of the edge. Is there a catch? Let me get a new piece of paper.
Yeah,
Let me get the tip. That was it. My wife's laughing at it like a joke. Oh. So, that was kind of fun. I just want to do that now.
oh my gosh.
So let's curve. Can we curve stuff?
No.
I don't know if I can do that with this type of a knife. Okay, paper towel. My wife's gonna hand me a paper towel.
Say please.
Please, honey.
Here you go.
Thank you. Again, we have not put this on any type of leather, so let's give it a go. So this is folded, non-creased. So I didn't necessarily grab that. Yep, didn't grab that.
No, that one's wet. Here you go. That one's wet.
Okay, she says wet. We're gonna try it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, we got some cutting. We got a little tear here and there, but we got some cutting. Okay, we got some definitely cutting there. So let me get some leather and demonstrate if we're gonna do leather.
Now you're saying it's a one-side thing?
Yeah, so first off, I have to point out that recently, my wife doesn't know, this came in the mail from Tony.
Oh, imagine
Took a shoe.
that. Imagine
It
that.
was a free gift. I can show you the text where I said, thank you for the surprise. Okay? Free.
Stuff just shows up.
Free. It was free. There was no money exchange for this. I was equally shocked. And I was like, hey, man, thanks for the strop. I'd never seen this on his site, so I don't know if it's just something new that he got and he sent it to me, but I'll take it. Okay, so there's no diamond involved. This has literally never been used. I mean, it literally just came in the mail. And so we're going to just put it on some leather. So I'm going to push in one direction. If you were going to do the backside, I mean, please keep this thing flat.
Or just don't.
Super light, again, like light. I like this drop. Thanks, Tony, for this drop. I know nothing about this drop. I don't know what kind of leather it is or anything. I don't even know if it's on his website. Again, I didn't know anything about it, so. Okay, I don't know if that'll. Oh,
Watch your fingers, please.
watch my fingers, folks.
I mean, you're close to your damn finger. I mean,
Thank you, honey.
I mean.
So there was some cutting, some tearing. So I didn't quite get this particular knife to paper towel. Definitely exciting. So anyway, we sharpened the knife. The knife is pretty sharp. She said, "You're killing me, Smalls." Some of you guys will know the reference. So anyway, we had fun today. If you have not seen the video, I purposely scratch the backside of this knife.
Painstakingly.
Honey, touch the back of that so I can see the thing.
Down. Yep.
Okay. Is this camera on too?
I had to turn it back on. Yep.
Okay. You guys cannot tell, and I think my wife would be equally impressed. You cannot tell. I had scratched the back of this knife in the Uroshi. And we have completely removed the scratches on the inside. We have sharpened this knife. Super excited about that. Cool. I mean, that just sounds amazing. Okay, making it rain. Definitely, this was not a dull moment. I hope that we were entertaining for you as well. We keep enjoying bringing you new information, especially as we learn it as well. We've got a lot of knives to practice on. I think my buddy Oliver here is looking to join. I think he's wanting dinner. So we're going to stop shooting videos for right now. If we don't see you guys soon, we wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. To all of you who support the channel, as always, we just hope that you are very blessed in so many ways as we have been. Thank you very much for supporting the channel and staying with us. We'll see you next Friday, 8 o'clock. Good night.